What the government's trying to do is strengthen communities and create opportunities for people to participate socially and economically. We want people to maximise their opportunities for social engagement and economic engagement.
Well, look, I think the big issue in Australian society over the next decade or more is finding new strategies in which we can bring disadvantaged people and their communities into the mainstream economic life of the nation.
Community enterprise, therefore, is one of the ways of engaging. It takes not a charitable model that essentially is often about sort of filling empty buckets or giving somebody food for the day. Enterprise is actually about recognising the need to have a sustainable approach to economic development. It's actually an enterprise that leads people into a place where they start to see opportunity.
Community enterprise is a business that's started to fulfil a social need. But that could be many different things. It could be a community that sees employment or lack of employment opportunities as a problem, and so the community enterprise would respond specifically to providing employment and training pathways for that local community. But equally, it could be a community buyout, it could be an environmental project. So the whole, I think, idea for community enterprise is that it's really using business techniques to address a social issue.
The company started up in around about 2001, early 2002, which was when a sign went up on the little petrol station, which was a handwritten sign that said, "This petrol station will close on Friday night." At that stage, a group of townspeople got together and thought, well, we either sit around and whinge about rural decline or we get off our backsides and do something about it. I'll tell you what we had. We had a business that was losing $500 a week. We had no money, we had no land. But we had a few people around who had a bee in their bonnet about this issue of sort of community decline, and there's got to be a way to address that. And the plan involved leasing this land, widening the shareholder group, so moving from a private company structure to a public company, running a public share offer to raise capital, which we did, and using the capital we raised to build this facility.
It employs 13 to 15 people directly that work here, so it's a viable business that's able to give back money to shareholders and money to the town.
Well, for the people who are involved in the whole process, me being one of those, I think it's been fantastic. We've assisted local people in getting jobs. And they're local people who have been long-term unemployed, so we've had some successes there. Myself, I have never been in paid employment. I left school early, I was a single mother for some time, so yeah, just didn't have any qualifications, and now I'm going to have Certificate 2 in business admin and hopefully be able to off somewhere and get a nice little job.
They can stimulate local economies. They can create a range of opportunities for participation, whether that's economic participation through jobs and income, or whether that's social participation through new opportunities to connect with each other and with other groups within the community. They're, I guess, some of the most profound impacts that they can have.
Since 2004, the Victorian government's invested over $21.5 million in the volunteering and community enterprise strategy. And this has funded over 75 enterprises across the state. Many of those are trading and trading at a profit. That's created in the vicinity of over 350 permanent jobs. So this, we've got enough evidence to know, even in the first few years of this strategy, that investing in this way, engaging with communities focused on economic and social participation, we know this produces quite real tangible outcomes.
We're currently just over $3 million. We're looking at over $3 million a year here now, so it's quite a significant business. But there's been weeks where we have sales of $70,000 in a week in here, which is a pretty significant amount of money for a small town.
I guess the recycle shop created an urgent need for people to become involved with their waste, and as a consequence of that, council started to recycle green waste, concrete, bricks, all sorts of things. So the recycle shop has played a very important part, but only a part, in getting the Bendigo community to better recycle. And presently it's turning over about $430,000 in this financial year. Some of that will be profit, but that will be ploughed back into employing another person.
The great thing about community enterprise is the range of benefits for that community. Enterprises obviously can generate profits that can be reinvested by that community into things that they see as making sense. They're obviously able to achieve environmental benefits for that community, whether it's about recycling, reuse of things in that community, as well as, I think, an educational and cultural awareness raising benefit. So being able to learn more about that community and the people of that community is obviously a great thing for that enterprise to be able to provide.
Probably well aware these are boomerangs. Okay, in our language we call them ladum. I've got to say it twice. It's a bit like wagga wagga. And one of the important factors of having a community enterprise, being Indigenous operated and Indigenous owned, is the fact that we actually feel as though we own that as our people. So when we actually venture into a business setting, we feel not just obligated from an employment point of view, but also from a cultural point of view. It makes coming to work a joy, because you're going to actually basically live your life, and you share that with other people. So having a community enterprise like this is a good opportunity to do that.
I think that we're in a promising environment at the moment, and there's great potential for community enterprise to further develop, but it's going to be partly contingent upon the will of the sector.
I think the potential of community enterprise is unlimited. It has so much to offer to our communities. As people start to understand its potential, I think we will see it grow significantly over the next decade or more.
Well, there is an ongoing role for community enterprises. We've supported it in the most recent state budget. We're going to fund it for another 4 years. And I think the early success of the community enterprise projects that have been entered into so far, both in the inner city, in the outer metropolitan suburbs and right across country Victoria, will build a momentum where people and communities want to see this sort of initiative continue. But the really exciting thing is that over the next 2 or 3 years, we're sure to see the successful development of more community enterprises, and I'm really looking forward to hearing the results of those in 3 years' time.